Alrighty, well, it's a minute past the hour, so we can go ahead and get started. I wanted to thank everyone for joining us today. We have a great webinar on deck for you. We have Legrand, who is going to be talking about their new smart home lighting system, Adorn and Radiant with Netatmo. So we have a great presentation for you. Looking forward to getting started. But first off, I wanted to introduce myself and Sonopar USA. My name is Bill Mortimer. I'm the Director of Vendor Marketing here at Sonopar USA. We're really excited for today's webinar with Legrand as they introduce their new smart lighting system, Adorn and Radiant with Netatmo. But I wanted to start just by saying a couple of words about Sonopar. If you're not familiar with us, Sonopar USA is an independent family-owned company. We are the global leader in B2B distribution of electrical products and services. And we're the largest privately held electrical distributor in the world. We have 14 operating companies in the United States that we call OpCos. And Sonopar's operating companies have over 700 locations in the U.S. alone, supported by large central distribution centers and a ton of branch locations. And when I say a ton, I mean over 700 branch locations. These locations have warehouses full of inventory, delivery trucks, technical resources, and local customer service associates ready to assist you. So we believe that being local allows us to be more innovative and nimble with a greater focus on you, the customer, all the while being supported by the resources of a $27 billion global company. So we believe and hope you'll agree, it's the best of both worlds, local but global. So in the next screen, you'll see, like I said, you may not be familiar with the name Sonopar, but you're probably familiar with some of these operating companies. Here are the 14 different operating companies across the US. They make up our nationwide coverage. We have coverage in all 50 states and probably a branch pretty close to you. But the main message that I'd like to get across to you today is that we are local, we have local brands, we have local leaders that you can deal with face to face, and we have local associates that are ready to serve you in whatever you need. So unlike other national distributors, we believe in the approach that one size does not fit all. We're ready to customize our products and services to meet your needs. And this allows us flexibility, which we believe is key to serving you. So with that, I'd like to turn the presentation over to our host today, Bill DeRoges. He's the Sales Training Manager for Legrand North America. Bill, thank you so much for putting this presentation on today.
It's my pleasure, but I'm actually going to let Steve Hamill take just 1 second to talk about a little promotion that we're running.
Sure. Thanks, Bill. So I'm Steve Hamill. I help manage the relationship between Sonopar and Legrand nationally. And as a thank you for taking time today to attend our presentation, Sonopar, after the presentation, will randomly draw 25 lucky attendees to win a Netatmo starter kit. And this is a kit that will give you everything you need to get up and running in your house with Netatmo. And as you'll see, as Bill talks about in just a little bit, the more devices that you put in, the stronger and stronger the network gets. At any rate, thank you so much for attending today. We appreciate your time. We know how busy everybody is, and this is just a token of our appreciation for you being here. So I'll hand it to you, Bill DeRoches. Go right ahead.
Okay, thank you. So I'm just going to jump right into the first slide here. And the reason I bring this slide up is that we really want to kind of explain to you a little bit about what the market is for these smart products. So we've been, tracking customer metrics for many years now to see what the impact is of voice assistance on the smart home lighting control market, which is where we play. And as you can see in the chart above, there are nearly 90 million U.S. adults. Oh, I went to the slide by accident. I'm sorry. There are nearly 90 million U.S. adults using standalone voice assistants today. And we track this metric because the voice assistants are indicative of customers that will buy smart lighting. In fact, there is data that says customers that own smart speakers like Alexa and Google Home are almost 7 times more likely to also own smart lighting. So one interesting point of data to notice on the right side of the screen is that 25% of smart speaker owners use their device to control products like lighting controls, like smart lighting controls, on a daily basis. So there is a a very rapidly growing need for these type of smart lighting products. So a little bit about Netatmo. Okay, Netatmo is a technology that was actually founded back in 2011 by an entrepreneur named Fred Potter. And the word Netatmo is actually the combination of the words network and atmospheres. Netatmo saw great success, especially with the weather and the HVAC controls over in Europe. So in 2015, Legrand took an ownership position with Netatmo and was working on a new smart lighting wiring device solution to be co-developed with the Netatmo team. In 2018, Legrand launched multiple collections in France and Italy with names like Cilion with Netatmo, Mosaic with Netatmo, Doxy with Netatmo, Living Now with Netatmo, and Valina with Netatmo. And the reason I show you these is to let you know that this technology has been around, it's been installed and used in many products throughout Europe with great success for a number of years now. So this is fairly new technology, but it's not brand new technology. It's tried and true. So then in the last quarter of 2018, Legrand acquired Netatmo outright with the goal of making it the technology solution for all of Legrand's smart wiring products. And today, the Netatmo platform has more than 1 million devices on it, and it's available in more than 60 countries throughout the world. So to start, I want to kind of give you a real high or bird's eye view of our offering. And so the first offering is part of our good, better, best solution. And it starts with a simple DIY solution that connects directly to the Wi-Fi in your home. And it's very flexible and it's integrated into the house, but it's good for setting up a few homes, a few rooms, a few devices within the home. But from there, we step all the way up to our with Netatmo offering, which is offered in both our Radiant and our Adorn, our very beautiful and bold Adorn product line. So the Radiant Wi-Fi version connects directly to the house Wi-Fi. It's a fast, easy setup, again, with just a few rooms and a few devices. The with Netatmo system is optimized for an ultra reliable whole home experience with what we call a mesh network to control up to 100 devices in the home. So it all starts with a gateway, and then it has wireless battery operated devices. It has smart hardwired switches and dimmers and outlets. And it has some really great features like energy monitoring and management, systems notifications, scene controllers. It's just packed with great features and benefits that I'm going to go through in detail with you as we go through the presentation. And as I said, it's available in our Radiant and in our Adorn systems. And the nice thing about that is you may have a house, and I'm actually doing this here in my house, where on the first floor you really want to show off with a high-end, bold Adorn product line. Okay, that's where my friends and family come into the house. That's the devices that they see on the wall. But maybe upstairs, you could use the Radiant line, which works completely in compatibility and total compatibility with the Adorn line. But upstairs in the bedrooms and bathrooms, we really don't need to show off as much, so we can put the beautiful Radiant upstairs and just save a little bit of money on the second floor. However you want to do it. So this is our catalog right now of our Radiant and Adorn products. Radiant is available in white, light almond, and nickel. All the products that you see here and that we're going to talk about today, if we're talking Radiant, those are the colors that are available: white, light almond, and nickel. And we started shipping those back in early August. The Adorn product line is available in what we call our soft tap version. If you're familiar with Adorn, you know there's many different types of switches. Some are push, some are rocker, some are a regular push in, have more of a firm full push. Some are what we call soft tap. And we offer this smart technology in our soft tap version of the Adorn light up. in the colors of white, magnesium, and graphite. And that's true of all the Adorn products, white, magnesium, and graphite. So the system always starts off with the gateway, and we have a couple solutions for that. Our gateways are compatible with Alexa, Google, Siri, and HomeKit. One gateway can be wired into any standard NEMA electrical box. Typically for new construction, we also have one for retrofit. I'll talk about that in just a minute. That we have two versions of that gateway that you can see here. New is just a single unit like you see on the left-hand side there, and the retrofit is the one we see a little just to the left of that. We'll talk about those in more detail in just a minute. But then we go into our Tru-Universal dimmer, and these are AC powered devices, our switches, and our outlets. Okay. The next thing, which is the really cool stuff in the system, is our battery operated switches, dimmers, and scene controllers. And when I say battery operated, I mean there are absolutely no wires involved with these, and you can stick them absolutely anywhere you want in your house. If you want to stick them on the wall, you can. If you want to stick them on your furniture, it doesn't matter. Okay, they have a battery that lasts for up to 8 years. We'll talk more about that. And with these wireless switches, and I'll talk a little bit more about this too, you can create very easy 3-ways, 4-ways, any ways that you want with as many devices throughout the home being operated by any one of these switches. So the with Netatmo system, as I said earlier, is based on a very reliable and a robust mesh network. This means that we get the benefits of Zigbee with enhancements to create even better user experiences for our customers. And if you don't know what Zigbee is, it's basically a wireless technology or a protocol that sets up a personal network that coordinates communication between the different devices in the system. Okay, even between our system and other manufacturers like we talked about, like Amazon and Google. Okay, so if you note in the diagram, there are really 3 types of devices in that diagram. The first one is on the right-hand side. It's the gateway, and it's highlighted in red. All in the wall devices are in blue. These are hardwired devices, okay? They're in the wall. And then our very thin battery operated devices that can be stuck anywhere, whether it's in a box or just stuck to the wall. And our scene controllers, these are battery operated. They're in the green on the outside, okay? So, and then at the bottom we have some plug-in units, and I'll talk about these plug-in units as well. So the platform leverages what we call a mesh-based network, that comes even stronger as you add more devices to the system. Okay, so we start with a gateway that connects to the Wi-Fi access point in your house, and then you add your smart wiring devices, both switches and receptacles, and dimmers. And note that in the image there are multiple connections represented by the black lines running between the devices. And that is what really makes this mesh network operate and what makes it so robust and so reliable. Because instead of needing routers or boosters to boost your signal as you go throughout the house and get further away from the gateway, these units are actually communicating bi-directionally all the time with each other, creating that mesh network. And then we add, of course, our what we call our in-way switches or anyway switches and dimmers out here on the outside in the green. And lastly, we have our plugins right here. And I should also mention that we also have the scene controllers, which I'll talk about even more in just a minute, that would operate out here in the green space. So let's talk about the individual components that make up the system. We'll start with the new work gateway. Okay, there are 2 types of gateways. One, the new construction that we're shown here. Okay, that's intended to be wired into a box in new construction, and later on I'll show you in just a minute the over-the-wall version. Okay, so the gateway shown is our Radiant gateway. In the inset below, it shows our adorned version down here at the bottom, okay? And due to the advanced engineering and design from our work with the Netatmo team, the size is significantly smaller than our old gateways or any of our competitors' gateways, okay? This device is wired with a hot and a neutral, so you do need that neutral in the box, and it connects to your home network. Additionally, is what manages the whole with Netatmo network. And one of the great features of this with Netatmo Gateway is that they are built into the home. They're not somewhere that can just be picked up and walked away, okay? They're wired into the house, and that means they're less likely to get lost or stolen, misplaced on the job site during construction, okay? So that's kind of a feature, if you will, about having a hardwired unit in the house. And one thing to note is that the app for the system uses a guided step-by-step app that you'll download to your phone, and it uses this little easy button right here. And once you are ready to set up your system, you press that easy button just once, and then you're ready to set up your whole system. Then we have our surface mounted. This is the second gateway. And this is really an innovative way of stealing power from any existing wall box, whether it's a switch, a receptacle, a dimmer, it doesn't matter, without the need to cut into the drywall or to swap out a 2-gang box for a 1-gang box, because it sits on top of the wall and just grabs wires from an existing box right next to it, okay? It's kind of like if you're familiar with some of our lighting control receptacles that we have now that, again, allow you to steal power from the box next door. Actually, I meant to say our charger, our phone charger, that does the same thing. It just hangs on the wall, but it doesn't actually use another gang or another box. You don't have to cut into the wall, which really makes this a great way to do an update or a renovation to an existing house. So here are two of the key wiring devices, our 15-amp wireless smart switch and our Tru-Universal dimmer. They're 120 volts, AC 60 cycle. Neutral is required, as I mentioned. These devices can be paired for 3-way applications, actually any-way applications, via the wireless smart switches that we'll talk about, or they can be part of a scene using our home away and our wake sleep smart switches, which I'll talk more about. Again, they work as routers on the network, essentially behaving as repeaters to create that robust mesh network I keep talking about. And the more devices that you add to the system, into the more rooms, the stronger the network becomes and the better and more reliable the system becomes. And the system optionally supports something that is really cool, which is energy monitoring. Okay, so during setup, you can actually put in the connected load wattage into the app, and the system will calculate the power that's being used. The switch supports incandescent and halogens up to 1800 watts, ballast 15 amps, both standard and electronic, and LEDs up to 5 amps and even half horsepower motors. The dimmer supports 700 watt incandescent and halogen lights, as well as 450 watt LEDs. And note that the customizable settings for the Tru-Universal dimmer are done in the app. You don't have to remember a whole bunch of customized buttons and sequences on the device itself. It's very simple. It walks you through it right in the application. And then we have our smart outlets, which support one outlet always on and one outlet that is controlled by the smart lighting with the Netatmo system. And these are wired in the same way as our commercial plug load devices, which I started to talk about a minute ago, which allows you on the back of the device to actually wire devices that are downstream to also be controlled by this one device. And one really exciting feature of the smart outlet is that these devices will monitor power in real time, so you can see what power is actually being used at a glance in the app. Oh, let me just go back. One more thing I just want to talk about. These devices, these plugs right here, or outlets, these are going to be available the first quarter of 2020. Okay, so everything else we talked about so far is available now. but these outlets will be available first quarter. So now let's talk about the wireless smart switch. It has never been easier to add a 3-way or a 4-way or whatever way you want to a system. And instead of spending a lot of time, wiring things up like you would with a traditional 3-way, these you can just cap the wires, put them back in the box, and digitally control the main load. It's simple with these, and it can be configured via what we call our tap, tap, tap method, or what's even easier is just to use the app. Now, when I talk about the tap, tap, tap method, what I'm talking about is inside all of these devices is a little accelerometer that when you literally tap the device before you mount it in the wall next to another smart device, it actually turns on the pairing mechanism and tells them to talk to each other and to communicate with each other, and it pairs them. So you can use the tap, tap, tap method, or you can just use the app when you're setting up your whole system. I think it's kind of easier and cooler just to use the app, but whatever works for you, we have that. Okay. And again, 3-ways, 4-ways, however many lights and devices you want to control in many locations, you can do it with this device. Next, we'll talk about the Tru-Universal dimmer. It's everything I just talked about. It's all of the same features as the switch, which I didn't mention in the last slide, but it has an 8-year battery life, replaceable with a CR2032, which I have tons of other devices in my house that use the CR2032. I actually have a security system, and all of the switches and all the windows and doors, they are replaced again with 2032s. They're very common batteries. They're available, in any store, which is really cool. And I haven't talked about it yet. I will talk about more later, but there are notifications that will tell you when that battery is getting low. So you never have to worry about the battery just dying. You can't use the switch anymore. When that battery starts getting low, you're going to get a notification on your phone telling you that the battery is getting low. So when the original work was being done and conducted with customers, and we're doing our research on this platform, our research showed that customers really have some very basic wants and needs in a smart home system. They wanted an easy way to have their home do something when they left the house and they were away, and again when they came home. And that is what the Home Away wireless smart switch is all about. It's basically a scene controller that can be mounted anywhere. You can just take one, you can just stick it to the wall wherever you want, doesn't need a box, and you can just put it next to whatever door that you use every time you leave the house. And so you leave, you want these lights on, type like security lights or night lights, whatever it is when you come home, so you're not coming home in the dark. And as soon as you walk through the door when you get home, you can turn those lights off again. Okay, and this can be done from both the switch itself manually or from inside the app on your phone. The other 2-way scene controller that customers wanted was something that would work both when they went to bed at night and again in the morning when they got up. We call it the sleep and wake scene controller. And basically, if you're going to bed at night, and I always think about when I had children at home, they're all grown up now, but at night we wanted certain night lights on in the house, certain security lights on outside. Okay, so when you go to bed, you're laying down right next to your bed, stick one of these scene controllers, and you turn certain lights off or certain lights on when you go to bed. And in the morning when you get up, especially as we get into the darker season like we're going into right now, you may want to just have a switch next to your bed that you can turn on and have certain lights turn on in the morning when it's dark. Okay, so we've talked about the flexibility of these wireless switches, and it is absolutely a cinch to install them. So in the first diagram, what you see here is the stick-on application, okay? And basically, this is you just peel and stick. We give you this double-sided glue in the box when you buy the switches and dimmers, and you just literally stick it to the wall anywhere that you want. Okay, the second option is that you use the screws that we include to do one of two things, either to mount it to sheetrock in your house, okay, we give you the screws and the walls. You mount them to the sheetrock in the house. Or you can use the same screws to mount them to an existing NEMA box that's in the wall. Either way. Now, if you're using this system with our Adorn system, there are certain face plates in the Adorn system that are much heavier because they're real materials. They might be a real stone or metal finish or leather finish. There's some really nice face plates and switches in the Adorn system, but they're heavier than the standard plastic wall plates that you find in the Radiant system. So in that application, you may want to use one of the screw methods, whether it's into the drywall or the NEMA box, rather than the adhesive. Now, the one thing I like to point out here in this Radiant system is we have wireless faceplates with Radiant. There's no screws required. They just snap on normally to a subplate that's attached right here over the devices in the box. But if you're sticking it to the wall, you need that subplate built into the switch, which is these tabs you see here. But if you're going to mount this switch next to existing switches or dimmers, okay, you would mount it right up next to the box, break off these tabs, and you're going to have a 3-gang subplate that would fit right over all 3 of these devices that the screwless faceplate would then snap to. Okay, so again, there's a subplate that you use right here, and then your screwless wall plate goes on top of that. But if you're going to use a wireless battery operated device, you mount it right next to the box and snap these off, and you can use a 3-gang plate rather than a 2-gang and a separate 1-gang plate. Just going to look a lot nicer. And lastly, we have our plug-in switch and our plug-in Tru-Universal dimmer, and these are really great for things like table lamps or holiday lights or any other device that you want to power and add to the system. They're also really cool because they are, again, part of the hardwired units that will communicate bidirectionally constantly with all of the other hardwired devices in your system and help extend out that mesh. So if you're getting into some more remote areas that may not have as good a strength because they're further away, you can just plug these right into any existing outlet and extend that range or build up the mesh network even more. Okay, so we have a Tru-Universal switch, which is just a plug one button that you see right here. And then you have your dimmer, which uses these 2 buttons to dim up and down. And again, these are going to be available the first quarter of 2022. Okay, next is something I really like a lot and I think is a great idea. If you are an existing house and you want to get into smart lighting in your home, we have 2 kits that are available to get you started. Obviously, one starts with a retrofit style of gateway, the over-the-wall style that just taps power off of an existing outlet or switch or dimmer. Okay, one smart switch and one scene controller, the home away scene controller switch. Okay, and the nice thing about this is it's offered at a discount compared to buying those 3 devices separately. Individually, the prices are more expensive than if you buy the kit. So it's a really nice way to get started with a system. And the second kit that we have, again, starts with the over-the-wall gateway. Then it goes into a smart outlet. So obviously this will be available in the first quarter of the year. And then the home away switch or scene controller. Really nice, again, with the discount that's available. So let's talk about some of the other really cool features of the system. So the Home Plus Control app can be downloaded from either the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. When the customer uses the app, the main screen that they're going to see is the Control by Rooms screen, okay? In this screen, you can see each of the rooms of the home, okay? You can see all the various rooms right there, like you can see office, master bedroom, hallways, kitchen, etc. In this version, you can see that at least one light is on in the master bedroom and there's another one on in the kitchen. You can see right there that this light is glowing, okay? From here, you can turn on the whole room either on or off, or you can go into a particular room by clicking on that room, and you can see right here the master bedroom has all of these devices that have that are controlled by a smart switch or dimmer, okay, right here in the master bedroom. And you can see that I can turn on or off any one of these individually, or turn them on all on or all off. So the system can also support virtually unlimited houses. So in this example, you can see that our house is called the demo house. You can see it in the middle here, up in the top right here. Okay, so in this demo house, if there were multiple homes owned by one homeowner, they would be able to touch that button to easily gain control of other homes that are on this particular system. There's the demo house right there. Also on the main screen, you can see the blue button with the 4 dots in the bottom left-hand corner over here, okay? That, just click it right there. Simply pressing that will slide up the schedules and the scene tray, and the system supports actions such as timed events based on actual time, like sunrise and sunset, with a plus or minus 2 hours. Now, I had this set up in my house that 15 minutes after dusk, my outside lights over my porch and over my garage. I have a 3-car garage. There's a light over each garage. They come on. So that way there, when we come home, this time of year when it's already getting dark, you pull in the driveway, 6 o'clock, it's pitch black. Okay, so those lights are on 15 minutes after dusk, and I have them set up to turn off at midnight. Okay, but you can control them to plus and minus 2 hours. You can even have them turn off at sunrise with plus or minus up to 2 hours. So 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever you want, plus or minus 2 hours. Okay. And you can also control these scenes again from within inside your app. So the system supports the home and away, and you can see that right here. Okay. And the sleep awake, as well as some other scenes that we set up called entertaining. Okay, we're having people over tonight. What's the lighting that we want? Or reading, and movie time. What are the lights that you want in the house when you're all sitting around watching TV? So you can control up to 4 additional scenes in the app, in addition to the wake, sleep, and the home away. Okay, and then the last screen that you see right here, you can see the status of the lights that are on or off. And one other thing I want to point out or show you is that you can view your app either in the light or the dark mode, whatever floats your boat, whatever meets your fancy. Okay. So there's the scenes that we support. And again, those are all the lights that you can control in the house with the energy monitoring. That's actual real-time energy monitoring. And there's the sleep dark. All right, I mentioned a little minute ago that there's some really cool features like the notifications, okay? So many of us have children, mine are grown up, thank God, that forget to turn lights off when they leave a room. And you can set up notifications to let you know if lights have been left on, okay? So in the second image, I have set up a notification called "You left the kitchen pendant on." Okay, I'll just click and you'll see it right there. So setting this up is done by easily answering just a few questions. In this case, I have given the notification a name. Under devices involved, I selected devices to monitor. In this case, it was the kitchen pendant. And I then determined that I wanted to know if the device was on for at least 5 minutes. Okay, and the third screen is showing that this notification, as well as another that I had previously set up. Okay, and what's really nice about this is these notifications come into your phone on the main screen. So you'll hear the notification come in, you'll pick up your phone. You're not going to have to sign into your phone, you're not going to have to sign into this app or anything like that. You'll be able to just click turn off the lights in the kitchen. Just literally, you're going to get the notification, you're going to pick up your phone, boom, turn them off. No need to sign in or do anything else, okay? There's some other really cool things here. You can see, and the third notification right here that we set up is one that would be for, like I talked about earlier, a battery that was dying, okay, going dead. It's going to give you a notification of that battery that is running low, okay. You can also get a notification if your gateway for some reason is disconnected. Maybe you lost power for a second, the router went down, the router hasn't come back up. I know in my house it takes between 5 and 10 minutes for the router to fully come back up after the power has gone off. So this will give you a notification letting you know that the gateway for some reason has been disconnected from the system. All right. Some additional features that are really cool. Okay, the system supports virtually unlimited homes. So a single user, like let's just say that you have a house, you have a guest house, maybe you have a pool house or an outhouse, I don't know. You can control multiple locations with one app. You don't have to download multiple versions of the app to control your home. Okay, you can control your main house as well as your boat house, your vacation house, whatever it is. So what you can do is you can give guests access to anybody that you want, okay? Anybody that you want to invite to have control over your system, friends, family, renters. You simply select the guest, okay? You click invite, and that can be via a text or any other method that you want. And you send a notification to that guest user. They'll click on it, which will bring them to the app, and then they will now have control of the system while they're using your guest house, such to say. You do not have to share your password with them. They're going to have, for whatever length of time that you want to give them control of the house, they're going to have access. When you decide that you no longer want them to have control of the house, you simply delete them from the system and they no longer have control of the house, okay? It's also a great way, just think about this, for a contractor to set up a new house, right? The contractor could set up the whole system, and then he could email the homeowner and invite them to take control of the house, and then he would just delete himself from the system, and he could have the system all set up for a homeowner. And if he didn't know who the homeowner is, that doesn't make a difference either, because he could actually still set up the system. And when the homeowners come into the house, obviously they'd be told by whoever's selling the house or a real estate agent that it has smart lighting to control the app from either Google or from Apple. And as soon as they downloaded the app from the store, the system would recognize that the app would recognize that there is a system set up in the house, and you would just be able to use the system as it's set up or make changes to the system. So it's very easy for a contractor to set up a house and hand over control to a known or an unknown resident coming in. Earlier, I mentioned that it's just as easy as can be to set up 3 ways, 4 ways, whatever you really want. These scenes show how easy it is done. You simply go into the settings, you select the wireless switch that you want to configure. In this case here, I call it the wireless switch office. I think I might have put a thing on there too. I might have, no, I didn't. But I call it wireless switch office. You select the device that you want to control, and then you click validate. Okay, down there in the blue in the middle. And now that wireless switch will control the main switch, the hardwire switch, just like a traditional 3-way. But as I said, it gets even better because you can go on the basic 3 ways, and you can have a wireless switch control as many devices as you want. In the scenes at the right, that simple wireless switch is now controlling, if you can see right here on the right, 12 different lights, okay? Right there, you can see that. And it was easy as just clicking the loads that you want to control and then pressing validate. So 3 ways have never been easier or more flexible than it is right there. And it's just as easy as downloading the app, and the app is going to walk you right through how that's done. Okay, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about the programming that we show here, but it is really as simple as downloading the app, putting in your email, creating a password. You select your country code, you say hit start, you got to select that this is Legrand from the menu, and from there it's just going to walk you through. You're going to hit the little easy button on the side of the gateway. you're going to find a QR code on the device itself, and it's going to just start walking you through step by step the whole system. The only time you're going to need to hit a button is right there to start the whole process. And then once you get the gateway set up, from there, it's just as easy to start adding all of the devices in the house. You just add one device at a time. You go through, you set them up, each device, what switches is going to control, what lighting loads are you to control, and you just keep repeating those steps 20 through 25 over and over again until you set up all of the wireless switches in the house, and you're done. And you can make changes anytime you want, and it's that simple. So that's the system. I'm now going to stop talking and let you go ahead. If you have questions for me or Desiree, or I think Scott Blunt might even be on the phone. Desiree is our product manager. Scott Blunt is our technical support for the Netatmo product line. And so if you have questions, please type them in the chat. Steve Hamill's going to read them out loud to us, and we'll hopefully answer any questions that you have.
So,
Bill.
Yep.
Well, currently we don't, it doesn't look like we have any current questions. There was one question about the phone app that looks like Scott Blunt has answered. So we'll just wait and see if anyone comes up, give it another minute or so, see if anyone has any questions.
Bill, this is Desiree. Thank you all for joining us. Just a quick comment on availability. All of the products that Bill spoke to today are available in the Radiant collection. So those are available today, and you can expect that all the products that Bill spoke to in the Adorn collection will be available early 2022.
Thank you, Desiree.
Thanks, Desiree. I'd also like to mention that all of the products that are currently available today are in stock at a number of the operating companies. I know Northeast has made a significant investment in material. So if you're in the New England area, you may want to look at that. We do have a question here. From Howard, Scott Howard. Are you going to move into commercial?
I'll let Desiree handle that one.
Yep, thank you. I actually just typed a response there, but thank you for the question. Good questions coming through. Not at this time. Light commercial projects are an opportunity, but not as a broad commercial product. And I think there was also a question about occupancy sensors. So there are no occupancy sensors at today's date. Certainly is a potential for future hardware additions. Though all of these products that Bill spoke to integrate with voice assistants, all three of the big name voice assistants, Google, Amazon, Google, and HomeKit. So we do have an opportunity to connect with alternative third-party products through those voice assistants.
So thank you, Tom Bigger, for that question about the occupancy sensors. Right now we don't have any. Oh, no, we do. From Michael Plagg. Can we please get a copy of this presentation to refer back to? Bill DeRoches, do we have a copy of this that we can provide?
Actually, we do, but we also have a recording of this presentation. It's going to be made available to everyone as well. I think Bill Mortimer is going to handle getting that recording out to everyone.
Yep. So, Michael, yes, we'll get you a copy of the presentation.
Yep.
And we've got a question from George Pinkney. How competitive is the pricing?
I'll take that one. Thank you for that, George. You'll have to look at your own individual pricing, but speaking in broad terms, it's competitive to what you would expect with other systems in the marketplace today.
Hey, this is Bill from Sonopar. I just want to let everyone know that I allowed attendees to unmute their mics. If you felt like you wanted to chime in and speak your question instead of typing in the chat function, you can unmute yourselves and ask this team your question as well.
Okay, so we don't have any current questions. We'll give it another minute here, see if anyone comes up with anything else.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
Thermostats integration.
That's a good question. I'll leave that one with Desiree. I believe we've got a good answer for that.
Yeah, thank you. Good question again. As of today, no, the system is Zigbee based. The system platform is Zigbee based. So in addition to, as I mentioned, being able to connect with existing third-party products that are available on the market today, we also have an open API on these products. So you will be able to get the API from our tech support department, and you will be able to directly connect these products with third parties as well. Relative to the thermostat, again, the short answer is no, not at this time. Could be a future addition.
How about with Nest or Ring on cameras?
It is not a direct connect today, but certainly through the voice assistants, you can create scenes and connect those to those popular third-party products as well.
Yeah, this is Scott. One of the most common requests we get is for somebody to say, if somebody rings a doorbell using the Ring doorbell system, can it turn on my porch lights? They have this light switch controlling my porch lights. And yeah, that's an automation you can set up within the Alexa app. So yeah, if somebody comes to your doorbell, rings it, they can, these switches can automatically turn on for 15 minutes and then turn themselves off while you greet your guest at the front door.
Okay, it doesn't look like we have any current questions. We'll give it just a little bit here. See if anyone comes up with anything else they'd like to ask. Okay, well, if there's no further questions, Bill Mortimer, did you have anything you wanted to close with, or should we close it here?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank everyone for attending today. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to your local OPCO sales rep, and they'd be happy to help you out. But just wanted to thank Steve, Bill, Desiree, Scott, the entire Legrand team for putting this on, and thank you all for attending.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.